The last time the NOVAR Verizon Cup Series hit the track, Johnaton held off charges from Todd Piper and Cody Weick to take her second victory of the season at the New York Auto Ring. Going into this weekend, the big storylines is that Gordon Billard, who was the 2012 winner of this race, and Shane Hardon in the 59 were both out for the race here this weekend, with Billard being out an additional week due to injury. Hardon was suspended for this race due to his antics at New York that caused many accidents, including the one that probably caused him to get suspended was after he turned at Mike Hogan in the closing stages of the New York Auto Ring race. Replacing Gordon Billard for the next year races will be Johnaton, Craysi, who actually previously drove for Mobile One Racing in 2008 and 2009. Craysi was released in the middle of the 2009 season due to poor performances and has been jumping around various rides, with Bulls Racing being his most recent addition, as he is currently driving for that team in the Gatorade Series. Replacing Shane Hardon will be Brad Kurtis, who drives for a similar team off of the Kurtis family racing, who Brad Kurtis is driving car number 55 in the Gatorade Series. Kurtis has been quite strong here both of these drivers have been very strong in the time trials and practice sessions overall. However, it's not really sure how well that will be done. Another news story that came out is that the Columbia entry list has already been released, and the rules and the sign-up process has already been placed. The rules are very simple for this race, as the championship contender that is remaining after the conclusion of the Texas race will be automatically locked in regardless of how far back they are. As of now, Chandler Blake is really the only legit shot to be in contention. If Blake somehow clinches the championship prior to Texas, that means nobody will be locked in for the race, and it will be like a standard race weekend, or a standard South Carolina part-timers weekend. Triple-digit numbers will be allowed to compete the first time since in the very early regional days, when NOVAR was not even as considered series, and then when regional racing had happened, that's the first time that we've actually seen that. Not only the four standard manufacturers of the Chevy SS, Dodge Charger, Ford Fusion, Toyota Camry will also be there, but the Pontiac Grand Prix will come back for this race. Audi will unleash their M8 model. BMW will bring the M3 model. Chevy will also have its Camaro model, which currently runs in the Gatorade Series, and Mitsubishi will come with its Lancer model as its alternate manufacturers. As of now, we have, I believe, 97 entries on the entry list right now, and the South and that's all we have to say. And also another new story, as this is running a little bit long, is that a new qualifying race process may be done, as what NOVAR has officially discussed about, although we do not have legit confirmation about how the format will run, but most likely it will involve a mix of time trials and actual racing. And now we'll be headed over to Kendall Johnson for the race recap, as this is taking quite a while. And thank you, Logan Chin, car number 72. He starts on the outside line, as actually it appears to be, as it's actually on the left side, as Johnaton Craysi starts second. Brad Kurtis in car 59 is already making a move under, I believe, the 00 of Jonathan Winslow. Looks like the 91 of Craysi is actually going to get to the lead early on in this race, as the other two Bulls Racing teammates of Casey Uto and Jonathan Winslow are right now third and fourth. As there you see the 72 of Chin. Looks like it's been clean so far, as, oh, we got one car already around. That's, I believe, Scott Harper in the 6. As Harper is, let's take a look at what happened. Looks like couldn't really tell what happened from Killen. I believe he got loose a little bit right there. Harper comes back up, gets into the 71 of Connell Zuki, and gets slight damage from the 57 of Kyrie Youth, and car number 6 would go out of this race very early. Now let's take a look at what happened to Jay Killen. Looks like he did apparently get loose and go, though it looked kind of minor, as he could have probably saved it. But meanwhile, back up front, looks like car number 19 of Casey Uto. There you see Jonathan Craysi gets into the dirt, and that's going to get the 19 right there, as the 19 of Craysi of Uto is going to get to the inside, and it's going to try to get the lead from the 91 of Craysi, but looks like the 19 of Uto will hang on to the second spot. Logan Chin, the pole sitter, already falls back to third with Jonathan Winslow. There you see Justin Cleeks at car 24. Looks like he's going to get by Brad Kurtis in that 59 car. Kurtis, who is replacing Hardon due to his suspension, is running very well here. So is that 91 of Craysi, who's already jumped out in front in that number 91 Red Bull Toyota. As now we see the carousel. The carousel has actually been one of the most difficult places around the track during this entire weekend. However, so far we haven't really seen anybody go off that circuit. until Luke Warren got there. As Luke Warren gets into the carousel, he will be our first victim as he spins and then runs into the wall. We'll take a look. Here's a better angle of what happened to Luke Warren as he apparently overdrove the carousel and he's going to get into the wall. So car number 14 of Luke Warren already goes out early. Our next victim would be car number 39, Walter Green. However, unlike Luke Warren, the 39 would hit the wall and would try to keep on going, although the 39 would, I believe, be done for the day as a result of that. As here's Shane Argan at 32. He has actually gotten by Logan Chin, but he will lose a lot of ground as he runs into the back of Jonathan Winslow and will lose several spots. He was running 4th at the time, and now I believe he will fall back to about 15th. But meanwhile, back up front, Bulls Racing has already swept up the first 3 spots as they were going to head into, I believe, Canada corner. As the 91 of Billard is going to lead Casey Hutto. Craysi gets into the dirt there as that's going to get Casey Hutto to the lead. And Jonathan Winslow is already getting challenged by the 72 of Logan Chin. Chin's going to try to hang on to the bottom as he's going to get... Apparently, looks like the 72 will get by Casey Hutto on the 19 while leading the race. The carousel is going to be a victim to Casey Hutto as car number 19 falls victim to the carousel as the 19 runs into the tires. Car 19, Casey Hutto, one of the strongest cars early in this race, would go out of the race. But meanwhile, back up front, the battle for second would actually start to be very interesting. There you see the 91 of... Actually, this is for the lead. The 91 of Jonathan Craysi and Logan Chin to the 72. Scott Johnson to the 58. Scott Johnson's actually been one of the fastest, and people said that he would have been one of the favorites to win the race. However, due to a poor qualifying effort, has pretty much negated that issue. There you see a couple of cars, I think, actually in the garage, actually in the pits area, as they actually, I believe, ran off and crashed into the carousel. There you see car 15 and Chadley Blake in 3rd, actually in the 4th spot now. As there you see Logan Chin looks like he will clear car number 91 for the lead, and looks like Craysi's not going to, looks like Scott Johnson will not get by the 91. However, he will fall behind to that 15 of Chandler Blake. As there you see Blake in the 15, looks like he doesn't have the preferred line going into this sharp left-hander. As there you see Scott Johnson is going to probably win the battle out. And then Brad Kurtis gets to the bottom of the racetrack. And they're going to be, and they almost went 3 wide going into the carousel, but Jonathan Craysi and then 91 is just, there you see the 15 and Chandler Blake are actually in the dirt already. And there you see Scott Johnson and Shane Hart and the 59 Brad Kurtis. They are already racing for the 3rd spot. Looks like Blake will hold off the 59er Curtis there. There you see Logan Chin and Jonathan Craysi still battling it out for the lead. As there we see the 00 of Jonathan Winslow hanging around in that 6th spot as we have a 6-way battle for the lead very early on in this race. As none of the 6 leaders have problems in the carousel. However, I believe not really, as here's Logan Chin, car 72. There's the lap car of Eddie Johnson, the 55. Chin would slightly get into the dirt a little bit, actually, and then Brad Kurtis in the 59 is being held up by his own teammate. He tries to go to the outside here. Kurtis is going to try to get on the outside of Eddie Johns, but Kurtis is going to run the car off of turn 14, and that means the 59 will only get passed by Winslow, Klingston, Blake, and Alan Kimmel. Scott Johnson, one of the favorites in this race, would go out of the race due to him being involved in the carousel. He would get stuck on the tires, and car 58 would be done for the day. However, that was not the only big name driver that went out of the race on the carousel. Jonathan Craysi on lap 11 would go out of the race at the carousel, and that's big. Oh, Chandler Blake almost loses it right there in the 15. He gets into the back of Jonathan Winslow. Blake hits the wall there, but doesn't spin it out. So the 15 does get damaged. He gets passed by Klingston, and will Chandler Blake be able to hold off that 88 of Alan Kimmel? As looks like Kimmel looks like he's looking under that 15 car of Chandler Blake, and it appears that Blake will actually get into the dirt, and that will actually cost him a chance to get by Kimmel, and Kimmel will now try to challenge Justin Klingston for that spot. Our first round and green flag stops will happen on lap 17. Logan Chin, your race leader, is entering the pits there. He will be followed by Brad Kurtis and the other leaders. There is him one lap later, actually 2 laps later, as the 72 is going to get by, as he's going to just try to get to the he has about a decent size. There you see, I think, barely in the picture, Brad Kurtis 59 is actually in the second spot, as I believe he just recently pitted. There you see him along with Jonathan Winslow, Casey Lester, and Alan Kimmel. I believe the 12 is a lap down of Casey Lester, as Casey Lester, people thought that he had a severe injury that happened at New York, but somehow when the doctor checked him, he wasn't exactly injured, which I have no clue why, but somehow Casey Lester is back on the track. I believe he is running off the lead lap. If I'm not mistaken, if he is, then I do kind of apologize about that, as the 12 Lester is right now. He got by Alan Kimmel. Kimmel's running in third and Winslow in fourth, as Winslow's going to try to get into the back of Kimmel, as the bump and run is actually quite useful around that corner, as it's actually not only that, it's actually been bumping opponents out of the way off of that corner. However, it has been proven to actually, once you actually do the bump and run on that corner, you can actually spin your opponent out that way, as looks like Kimmel in the 88 is pulling away from the 0-0 of Jonathan Winslow. We get Casey Lester in the 12, overruns the turn a little bit there, and now we're going to head to the carousel, as that's also been a treacherous place, as looks like Lester almost overruns it. So does the 0-0 of Winslow. Kimmel almost gets in the back. It actually does get in the back of Casey Lester, and that will hold up the 0-0 right there. So Jonathan Winslow actually had a chance to get by. We would have more pit stops happening on lap 25. 1 lap later, Justin Klinkson and Tony Whiter would actually get to the pit. Will actually get to the stalls. Fuel will actually be a key part in this race, as the 2012 race was actually a fuel mileage race, since everybody but Sean McDowell actually had to pit onto the white flag. McDowell, I believe, ran out coming to the checkers. As there you see Klinkson and Jonathan Winslow, they're actually battling it out for the 4th spot. As if this race does turn out to be a fuel mileage, the 24 and the 35 would be a big advantage, since they pitted 1 lap later, as the tanks are kind of questionable if they can actually go all the way. But I believe after what they saw in the 2012 race, the fuel mileage would be key. Justin Klinkson would throw his strategy out the window after he overruns the carousel with about 6 laps remaining. And meanwhile, back up front, the 72 of Logan Chin, there you see Klinkson actually gets towed behind the wall. The 72 of Logan Chin was basically untouched practically for this ever since Jonathan Craysi went out. That 72 is basically been untouched. Logan Chin has only 4 career wins, and all of them have had some odd type of way. He dominated the California race in his 2009 for his first career win. His second career win was that duel between himself and Jonathan Winslow to get that victory at that victory at Dover. 2013 was that overtime thriller where he got by pretty much everybody in that race to win that race. And now Logan Chin, he has basically just dominated this field here at Elkhart Lake. As there you see Shane Nargan. Nargan's actually running in the 7th spot. As Chin, I believe, just lapped him. Brad Kurtis in the 59 is running in the 2nd spot. Alan Kimmel is in 3rd. So the top 3, unless if one of them does slide off, as the 72 Logan Chin is going to get into this another hairpin, and now we're approaching the carousel. This will be a key part in order for Logan Chin to probably win the race. If he does, I believe he will clinch the win, unless if something crazy happens here. Chin runs it a little bit high, and looks like he will be able to get away from trouble off that carousel. So unless if one of his engine does blow up, it appears that this 72 will walk away with the victory here, as he has about a 7.5 second gap over Brad Kurtis in the 59 car. Kurtis actually had a very strong car in that number 59 Mobile 1 Ford. They see 72 going around the Canada corner. Then he's going to head up to turn 13A, as there you see up 13A. And if he does run out of fuel, the climb up the hill will be a little bit difficult for that 72. But working with the 7-second gap, it shouldn't really be a problem. And out of the last turn, out of turn 14, the 72 of Logan Chin, he's going to get up the hill, no problems there. And Logan Chin is going to get career win number 4 here at Road America. So for the first time since 2009, a driver that started on the pole ended up winning the race. Logan Chin did that accomplishment. He led a race high 31 of 39 laps to his victory and outbeat Brad Kurtis by 7.5 seconds. Brad Kurtis had a very strong run, and had he won the race, he would have actually, I believe, been the first driver to win in his debut I believe, in a long time. I can't remember the last time that was successfully happened. Alan Kimmel in the 88 will finish in the 3rd spot. He finished about twice as far as Kurtis finished from Chin. He finished about 13.5 seconds back. Johnaton Winslow then finished double of what basically Kimmel finished. He finished about 28 seconds back from the leaders in the 4th spot. Actually had a quiet day for car number 00. 35 of Tony Wider. Had the fuel strategy gone through, he would have possibly won the race. However, there was no fuel issues pretty much in the final laps of the race, so he finishes a well-respected 5th place finish. Brandon Green, car number 30, gets a 6th spot. He finished 49 seconds back from the leader. And then Chandler Blake almost got lapped. However, there was too little time for Logan Chin to chase down the 15 and lap him, so as a result, Blake will finish on the lead lap. He finishes about a minute and 50 seconds back from Logan Chin, as he was the farthest back from the leaders to finish. Shane Nargan in car 32 finishes 8th. He was the only car 1 lap down in the number 32. Todd Piper in the 26 finishes 9th. Very quiet day for car number 26. He finished 2 laps down. Cameron Brooks in the 33 rounds out the top 10. He also finished 2 laps down. Out of these cars, the only other car to finish the race was Kyrie Euthan, who finished 11th. She was 3 laps down. Everybody else had crashed out. And now we'll take a look at your point standings. Chandler Blake has his biggest lead of the season at 56 points over Keith Hales in car number 27, who was in 2nd in points. He remained there despite being involved in early wrecks and crashing out. He is only ahead of his teammate Todd Piper by 4 points, who Piper is in 3rd. 4th place right now is the 32 of Shane Nargan. He gains 1 spot to the 4th spot. He is tied with Todd Piper. However, logically, Nargan should actually be ahead of the 26. The 22 of Cody White is in 5th spot. He is 3 points behind his teammate Shane Nargan. He has 63 points back from Chandler Blake. And then Casey Lester, who everybody thought wasn't going to race this week or possibly had a career-ending injury at New York, somehow finishes 6th. I believe he finished 19th in the actual race. He gains 1 spot to the 6th spot. However, he is 13 points behind his teammate Cody White. Shane Clark III falls 1 spot to the 7th spot. He is only 1 point behind Casey Lester. And rounding out the top 8 is Jana Nori, who gains 1 spot to 8th in points. And now we'll take a look at 9 through 15. Tony Wider and Brandon Green gain 3 spots due to their respective top 10 finishes. Wider going to the 9th spot with 86 points behind, and then Brandon Green back in the top 10. I believe that's the first time since I believe Sacramento that he's actually been in the top 10, or I recall that was even later. I believe first time since I think Darlington that he's actually been in the top 10 in points. He gains 3 spots to the 10th spot. Car number 20 of Mark Mongillo, he had a kind of a dismal day. He falls 11 spots as Mongillo was involved in an early crash. He falls 1 spot to the 11th spot in points. Jason Duke falls 1 point back due to his early incidents. I believe he was a factor in that Scott Harper incident when he got turned by his own teammate, as Jason Duke falls to 12th. He is 107 points back. Shane Hardon, the 59, who did not participate in this week's race due to his antics at New York, as he was suspended for this race because of those antics that I mentioned. He falls to 109 points and falls to 13th, so he is actually our biggest loser despite that circumstance. But Hardin will come back next week at Grand Detour. Logan Chin with his win is our big winner. He gains 8 spots. He gains from 22nd to 14th in the points as a result of that. And then rounding out the top 15 is car number 24 of Justin Clinkston. He is 119 points back, and he's also tied with Damon Scott with 284 points. Next week's race will be at the Grand Detour Speedway in Quincy, Illinois.